Hey class, you have finished chapter 7, which is a good overview on how to be an interviewer, how to go through the process of interviewing someone, which gives you an idea of what takes place on the other side of the table when you are the interviewee. What I want to do in this short video is highlight information from chapter 8 that is very important and that will help you as you put together your resume, your cover letter, and as you start to begin your job search at whatever time that may be, but this is good background information for you. So what I want to highlight here is preparing for the job interview and this 5-step process in which you will undertake when you're preparing for an interview. First, you want to identify your interview goal. Second, you want to develop your resume. Third, you want to identify and research your organization, the position, and a contact person. Fourth, you want to write your cover letter. And lastly, arrange your interview. So let's look at this. So the first step, obviously, is to identify the interview goal. Now, most students will say to me, yeah, my interview goal is to get the job. Yes, definitely. You always have that in the back of your mind. But you want to clarify your skills as an individual. Many times students, people go into an interview and they don't really clarify or have a concrete idea of what their skills are and what they can do for this organization. So in this section, we're looking at the skills of adapted skills, transferable skills, and job-related skills. So this is one way to, in a sense, think about your skills and put them in some kind of logical order. So adapted skills, as you can see here, is how do you adapt in the workplace? Think about your interaction with others in the workplace. How social are you? Are you a person that is very humble? Are you loyal to a company? Are you detailed-oriented? Are you organized? So these are things you want to think about before you go into the interview. And you don't want to just make them up. You want to really have adjectives that describe who you are in an adapted workplace. Transferable skills are skills that you can take from one job to the next. So if you're an assistant manager somewhere, and let's say you're an assistant manager at TJ Maxx, and you want to go work at Ross as an assistant manager. So what are the transferable skills that you will bring to this particular company? Do you have good presentation skills? Are you a good group problem solver? Do you work well with a team and you interact well? Are you a good leader? So those are transferable skills. And then obviously your job-related skills here are just skills that are related to your particular job, to your particular profession. As you know, each profession has different skills. An accountant has particular skills such as bookkeeping, being very accurate, hopefully, detailed-oriented, communication skills. Communication positions have different skills involved as far as writing skills, oral communication skills, people skills. So keep those skills in mind, and that's what you will highlight in this first area. So first part, what are your skills as an individual? The second, you want to develop a resume. So as you know, your resume is a well-organized overview of who you are, your background, your training, and your qualifications for that particular job, or for your profession, I should say, not that particular job. So as you know, and you probably already have an a resume, you highlight different positions, you explain what you have done in those positions, you give an overview of what your objective is, you probably, most likely, maybe offer some other skills, such as, maybe you conducted a fundraising campaign for a local community event, or you received some type of an award. How long should your resume be? Well, for an entry-level position, usually 1 page. Could be up to 2 pages. However, most employers like a 1-page resume. What should you include in this resume? And as you can see here, your textbook, and this is just general information about how to put together a resume, these major areas as far as who you are. So remember, your resume is going to give a good overview of who you are. Your cover letter is going to complement that resume. That cover letter is for a particular position you are applying for. Also, you will see here is an example resume that follows the same format as you see here in your textbook. Some students, some people, they may not put in honors and accomplishments. Maybe you don't have a lot of honors or accomplishments, or you feel that's not worthy for this particular position. Some folks put references, names of particular people at the bottom of their resume if those people have a connection to that company. So for instance, let's go back to that job at Ross, and you want the assistant manager's position at Ross. And you have a reference of a person who is in upper management at Ross, or a chair of a board member at Ross. So you could, and you have asked that person for a reference, you could put his or her name in your resume, and that will add to your connectiveness to this particular company. Or you could say references available upon request. And then when that process comes up, as far as the company checking the references, you'll provide them with the names and phone numbers and email addresses of those folks. Okay. So resume, we have now, we know our skills as an interviewee. We have our resume. Now we want to identify our third step here and research the appropriate organization, position, and contact person. So these two here, organization and position, go interchangeably. So let me explain that. So you may want a position as an assistant manager. Okay, so this is your goal. I want to be an assistant manager. But you don't care where. You just want to get an assistant manager position so you could then move up to be a manager. So this will come first. So you identify and you research different positions as an assistant manager. Compared to organization, you know what? I don't care what I do. I just want to work for the airlines, or I just want to work for an education institution. So this is your first step, your first goal, is looking at the organization, the industry in which you're interested in. And then you say to yourself, heck, I'll just get my foot in the door and then move up to that assistant manager. So these two go interchangeably. How do you find that position or the organization, and then the contact person in which to contact regarding a job? Your textbook looked at the book, What Color is Your Parachute, as far as how do you go out there and find positions. Obviously, as you know, we have many online available searches for you, such as Indeed.com, Monster.com. If you're on social media, or you're on LinkedIn, that's another good place to network with other folks. College students tend to use the internet first, mail out resumes to employers at random. That was something I did in my time, and I'm an old lady. So it does work, and I don't want to discredit that. However, I don't know if I would use that as your first choice. Answering advertisements in professional and trade journals, which is a very popular way. So I would continue to use these, but also what this author suggests is that obviously, the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Now, not to discredit information and knowledge, but it's very important to put the word out there. You're looking for a job. Tell family, friends, anyone that you are looking for this particular position, or you want to work for this particular organization, because something tends to come up, or they know someone or a place that has a position open. Knock on the door, or the office or the factory that interests you. Go there. Give them that face-to-face time, which is very rare these days, which really goes a long way anymore that you have taken the time to go and knock on the door. And using your Yellow Pages or just using a search online is another helpful way. Okay, so your next part of finding a job, after you have identified your organization and the position, is to write your cover letter. Okay, so you have that resume, which is a good overview. This cover letter is written in particular to that particular job, to that job that you want. So you see in the ad for that assistant manager of Ross, and you have all the skills for that position. However, they're looking for someone who is a team player, someone who is very good at presentations, and thirdly, someone who is very customer oriented. So you read this in the ad, or you see this in the job description, and you write your resume to highlight those particular skills. So this is your sales pitch of what you can do for this company, of what they are looking for. So you want to highlight that in your cover letter. This is an overview of what a cover letter will look like. And here are the elements in yellow of what your cover letter will look like. And you will have this to do at the for this class, so you might want to reference back to this particular area. I'm not going to highlight too much regarding what you need to write, but as you can see, the way this is put together, you have a first, second, and third area in which you will be a good fit for that position. So you're looking at those areas that were highlighted in the ad for the job, and then you're going to tell us why you are the person for this particular position. That's your cover letter. And then lastly, you want to schedule your interview. Okay, so scheduling your interview. Now, if you're responding to an ad, obviously there will be a contact person in that ad. But as your text highlights here, and as I've read in the past, a lot of positions are already filled before they put the ad out, or they have a good idea of who they want in that particular position, whether it's somebody internal or they know somebody external of the company. So you're a new grad, you're getting out there. What you can do is call the organizations of your choice and get a contact name, or get a contact name online and call these organizations and just introduce yourself. This goes a long way when you make the phone call rather than emailing. Now, emailing works, however, they can easily be ignored, these emails. A phone call, you're talking to somebody directly, and that really goes a little bit longer, the miles, extra miles for you as far as making that phone call. So, I don't know about you, but sometimes when we're making these critical phone calls, we're like, well, what do we say? How do we say it? Hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with having a script put together, or key points at extemporaneous speaking, key points of what you want to say on this phone call. So your textbook offers some key points as far as what you want to say to this person when you are making this phone call. Excellent, excellent advice here. Also know too, it's kind of a cold call, right? As a salesperson, you're selling yourself, you're making a sales pitch, and you would say something like, maybe there's not a position available now, but please keep me in mind. I will forward my resume to you, and you'll have that on hand. So who do you contact? Who do you make that interview with? If it's a cold call, or if it is within that ad that you responded to. So, in a nutshell, what did we cover? First, identify your skills. What are your skills going into that interview? Remember, your adapted skills, your transferable skills, and your job-related skills. Secondly, identify whether you are looking for a particular position or you want to work for a particular organization, and find that contact person within each of those areas. Thirdly, your resume, clean, crisp, no typos. Cover letter. That's your sales pitch, remember, of why they should hire you for that particular position. You want to highlight your skills. And lastly, making a cold call to a contact person, or just arranging the interview with a particular person in an organization. Thank you.